Okay, we are JoJo's here. We'll start with questions. I will start with, let me go back to the list here. Sean Callahan.
Hey, JoJo, just curious, short week, what's the mindset? How do you guys flush Saturday's Illinois game quickly, knowing that obviously that's not what anybody wanted around there?
Right, we got to be constructive about what went on Saturday, and then just turn the page, move on to the next game. These weeks go by fast, so capitalizing on every day, preparing the best of our ability every day is going to put us in the best position to succeed on Friday.
Joe Nugent.
Hey, Jojo, I'm wondering with a short week, is that almost a blessing in this situation, an opportunity to get back out on the field just that much quicker off of a frustrating performance?
Yeah, every game's a blessing. I think we all saw firsthand on Saturday how precious this game really is with Colin Miller and what went on there. So regardless of a short, long week, we're excited to get back out on the field.
Ron Christopherson.
Hey, JoJo, you're a guy who kind of had to wait your turn through some injuries and stuff early in your career until you became an every down player. What's your message to younger guys, I guess, as they're going through this and maybe frustrated by the process and losing early on?
It's tough. It's not easy. But adversity sharpens men. Adversity makes men. And just because it's not going the way you envisioned it going doesn't mean that it's not for you or it's not still there for you to take. So just stick the course, continue to be hypercritical of how you can get better, how you can prepare better, how you can lock in more in different ways, and continue to just trust the process.
Parker Gabriel.
Hey, JoJo, even if you're in a stretch where you're playing well or not as well defensively this year, third down's been a struggle. Can you put your finger on anything that's led to that, or what do you make of that so far this season?
Yeah, well, when it's third and short, I think the real problem's on first and second down. So we're not really getting them in third and longs. So that's probably the biggest issue right there. And just everything in between, just the details. Getting pass rush, staying in our pass rush lanes, covering down on defense, making it hard for them on first and second down to convert on third down.
Sam McEwen.
Hey, JoJo, the issues predate your arrival at Nebraska. But since Nebraska's joined the Big Ten, run defense has been hard for Nebraska, and statistically it continues to be hard. What's hard about defending the run in the Big Ten? What issues have you guys struggled with, and what's hard about defending Iowa? I know that's three questions, but they all kind of connect.
The Big Ten is a run-first league, so we got some of the biggest offensive linemen, biggest tight ends, big fullbacks, and talented running backs across the whole league. So you got to be sound in your run fits. You got to play more physical than them on defense, and you got to get them out of their game plan, what they want to do to you, which is run the ball vertically down your throat. We've struggled with the stretch in the past, so it's just really just the whole run game, being able to stop and adjust to anything that they're giving us, that we're able to punch them back. So
what's tough about defending that stretch play? Iowa likes to run it, and other teams do too. What's tough about defending that play?
You just got to be gap sound. You got to set a tight edge. Everyone's got to be in their interior gap. We got to have a guy on the backside, and then we also have to be able to stop the reverses and anything coming out on the back end. So it's just being gap sound, being good at football, and getting vertical, and being more physical than them.
Andrew Ward.
Hey, JoJo, you guys have played a couple of pretty close games against Iowa, combined 6 points and 2 losses the last couple of years. Just what's kind of made that rivalry intensify, I guess, over the last couple of seasons? And then kind of a not so serious question as well. Do you have a favorite Thanksgiving food?
Yeah, I love steak and mashed potatoes. Not a big turkey guy. I'm willing to try some new turkey, but I'm a homegrown just steak mashed potato guy. And then just Iowa. I was a big game just because they're they're our border. It's Nebraska versus Iowa. It's this heroes game. There's a trophy. But at the end of the day, it's two football teams going at it, and one's going to end up on top, one's not. And we really want to end up on top this year. We're doing everything in our power to prepare this week to be that team on top.
Mitch Sherman?
Hi, JoJo. Hey, knowing Iowa like you probably do after having played them a few times, what do you expect from them Friday when you can imagine that they're sitting watching you guys in the situation you're in right now, coming off of a tough loss? Like, how do you think that they are approaching this game, and what kind of mentality do you expect from them this week?
Yeah, they're going to try to run it down our throats. They're going to try to out-physical us in all three phases of the game. They're going to try to punch us in the mouth and then keep us down. And we're going to be trying to do the same thing. So not being discouraged if they get us or if we get them, just staying level-headed and playing 4 quarters of good football.
Steve Sipple?
Hi, JoJo. Do you see the sort of physical run game during the week that you often do on Saturdays? The sort of run game you alluded to earlier?
We're ramping it up. It's tough to bang during the week when guys are banged up from the game on Saturday. But definitely this week more than in the past weeks, like, we're being as physical as humanly possible. We're throwing our bodies out on the line. We're preparing ourselves not only mentally but physically more than I think we have before, based off of how practice went today. And we're doing everything in our power to set ourselves up for success on Friday.
Thank you, JoJo.
Last question for JoJo, Evan Bland?
Hey, JoJo, another Iowa question. I mean, what's the frustration level just within the locker? And you've been around the program as long as anybody with this 5-game losing streak. And maybe what's just 1 or 2 things in your experience that you guys could do differently this Friday to maybe turn that outcome in your favor?
We all want to win. We just want to win. And the fact that it's Iowa this week and that we're coming off a not-so-great game, it just makes it that much, like, the passion's going to be there, the anticipation's going to be there. It's going to make it that much sweeter when we come out on top on Friday, because coming off a low week and then getting a dub is amazing, but then versus like a rival and a hero game would mean a lot. So that's what we're striving for, that's what we're preparing ourselves for, and that's what we're hoping for.
Thank you, guys. We'll have Cade Warner here shortly. Okay, I have Cade Warner here. We'll begin with Jacob Bartecki.
Hey, Cade, I just had a question. Your dad's been around the block in the NFL. He's been through slumps. He's been through rough games. I'm just kind of curious what kind of advice he gave you and has given you in the past when things have not gone according to plan.
Yeah, just keep your head up and keep working. Just keep working because that's all I know how to do. So when bad things happen, when I don't play as well as I want to, which I haven't, when plays don't go your way, you just got to keep working because it's all you can do. So I've just been taking that approach and put it towards practice, put it towards meetings, weightlifting, anything I can. Just keep working, and I'm confident that I'll reap what I sow.
Just a follow-up. Are you trying to grow out a beard now? Is the mustache era over?
Yeah, I think the mustache era is over. I was going to shave before the season, and y'all made me keep it for a couple more weeks, but I figured, yeah, it was over. But now everyone's doing mustaches for Iowa, so I guess I shaved it just a week early. But, yeah, who knows?
Cool. Thanks, man.
Andrew Ward?
Hey, Kate, just what about this game against Iowa? You guys have lost 5 straight against them now. You've only been a part of a few of them, but just especially the last 2 seasons, the rivalry itself seems to have really intensified.
Yeah, no, there's been a couple of close games. The last 2 I've played in, I think came down to a field goal. So we're right there. We're confident. We obviously didn't show out as well as we wanted to last week, and that starts at practice. So starting yesterday and today, we practiced much harder. There's been a new kind of intensity and detail towards the practice and the plays, and I think that we'll have a different result this weekend. But I think it's going to start with the juice we bring. And so far in practice, we've done well, bringing our own energy and our own juice. We're going to have to bring it again Saturday, or Friday, I guess, yeah.
Okay, Parker Gabriel?
Hey, Cade, when you went back and watched the film of Illinois, or maybe you noticed it on Saturday, did you sense that some of your young guys or new guys had put themselves in position to make plays or got open? I guess where would you assess sort of where the group is on that front overall?
In terms of the wide receivers, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think we did a good job. We didn't do good enough. I don't think we got open enough. But I think that throughout the game plan, our young guys did well learning it. I think that's the biggest key for a lot of them because they have the athletic ability and talent to succeed. So I think all our young guys knew the plays. And for the most part, we did what we're supposed to do. There's just some effort things we have to fix, I think, is the biggest key that I saw in the game. From young guys all the way up to me, I think there's some effort plays we can fix that we've been detailing in practice, just finishing the blocks, making sure your guy doesn't make the play at the end of the day. And that's the approach we've had going forward. But out of the whole last game, we ran the right routes. We got some separation when we needed to. I think the biggest thing was that we're preaching is effort.
Kevin Suits?
Hey, Kate, I think you just answered kind of the question that I had, but I want to just ask you, what do you think is holding the offense back? I assume right now the numbers that you guys are putting up offensively probably are not at the clip that you wish they are at.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing right now is I think it's turnovers. I think we're too loose with the football. We stress it in practice, and we stress it right before the game too. I think we just have too many turnovers and too many self-inflicted negatives is what we call sins. So I think we got to start beating ourselves and giving the defense short fields and giving the other offenses the opportunity to score. And I think if we fix those and just play our game and play the way we're supposed to play and quit those sins, I think it will all turn around for us. So we're stressing that again in practice, going back to the fundamentals and the details moving forward.
Brian Christopherson?
Hey, Kate, I know you said Adrian came over after that Northwestern game and actually talked to you. And then the viral video of him giving the locker room speech to the team before the Penn State game. Just how have you seen him, I guess, stay engaged, in a tough moment for him personally if he's called on again?
Yeah, I mean, he knows his job is to help his team win. And he's going to do it any way he can, whether it's giving a good look in practice, whether it's motivating the guys, whether it's a pregame speech or giving us energy on the sidelines. He'll do it all. And he knows that the roles change right now and it might change moving forward, and who knows what's going to happen moving forward in the future. But at the end of the day, all of our jobs are to help us win football games. And he knows that. And I think that he's had a very mature approach going forward and knowing that he's going to do his job and he's going to do everything he can to help our team in whatever position he's put in. So it's been great for him to see. He's really stepping up as a leader in all the roles he's been in. He's just a great dude all around.
Sean Callahan?
Hey, Kate, how do you guys improve just the downfield throwing aspect of this offense? Obviously, that hasn't been something you guys have had a lot of success with. Is it something the receivers got to do better? I mean, is there one element or two elements that you guys need to work on to get that downfield throwing element going more?
I'm sorry, you're a little quiet. You said that what do we have to work on wide receiver wise to what?
Your downfield throwing element of the offense. It just has, you guys haven't had a lot of real deep shots down the field. What do you guys need to do to kind of get that going?
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I think the biggest thing is building that trust in practice. I think that last week in practice, we didn't do a good enough job running routes full speed and getting our depth and building that trust with the quarterback in practice. And if you don't build the trust, then there's no way you're going to have it during the game. So I think that in practice now, we're doing better of getting to our depth and getting there with speed so the quarterback can trust us and the line can still protect for that long. Because it all starts with us. If we don't get there on time, the quarterback's got to hold it for too long, line's got to protect for way too long. It doesn't really work. So I think that we just got to still work on the details and still work on getting our depth, still working on full speed, and just building that trust with the quarterback. And they got to trust us that when the ball's in the air, we're going to get it, and we're continuing to work on that.
Steve Sipple.
Hi, Cade. Luke still, I mean, he's really pretty young at that position, still young as a player. What was his demeanor like as the game unfolded and things weren't going particularly well for you guys? Did you notice anything in particular about him?
Yeah, I think that's what's great about Luke is that he's always go, go, go. And he always has full energy, and he always is super confident in himself, which is great. So, yeah, the game wasn't going our way, and I went over and talked to him, and I was like, hey, you good? And I knew he was good. He was fine. He's ready to go. I told him that, hey, we don't pay you to aim, we pay to throw. You know what I mean? So he was getting more relaxed and getting in the groove of the game. And I think as the game went on, he got better with it. I just think that moving forward, as I said, the trust in the practice, we have to build that more so that when we get in the game, we don't frazzle anybody. And I think he's done a really good job of stepping into the role and staying confident and collected and doing his job. And I think that's what's great about Luke is that he has a mentality that I'll always be ready, and he is always ready. So I love the guy, and he's been doing a great job for us so far.
Thank you, Cade.
Thank you, guys. We'll be back with Vondale here momentarily. Hey guys, just checked with Matt and those guys downstairs. Wandale will probably be the last one for today. We have a couple, I think, lined up for tomorrow as well after practice. So we'll have Wandale and then Coach Frost after that, probably his usual time. Okay? Okay, you can camera up. Okay. We have Wandale here as well now. I'll start with Sam McEwen.
Hey, Wandale, what do you feel like is the key to getting a better downfield passing game at this point for you guys? How do you generate more big plays down the field?
That comes with practice. Part of that in practice, we weren't really executing the way we should have on passes down the field, and now we know exactly what we have to do. Everybody has to be running full speed to get the chemistry going with the quarterbacks to have confidence throwing the ball down the field.
Why weren't you guys running your routes in full speed last week in practice?
I mean, it wasn't that we weren't. It was just there was some instances that there were drop balls. Some things just weren't working out the way that they should have, and just not practicing the way that everybody should have. That was just kind of an all-around effort. So it wasn't just us running routes. It was just a little bit of everything. So.
Sean Callahan.
Yeah, Wandale, just on a short week, what is the mindset? How do you guys flush that loss against Illinois and get back to work right away, knowing you got a pretty good team in Iowa coming up here on Friday?
We know that's not how we should have played last week. So we just came in knowing we have something to prove coming into this week. We got to practice the way we should. Everybody has to execute the way we should be. At keeping everybody accountable with every little thing in practice now, all the details. So we just have to do everything right. So now we just have to forget about Illinois and get on to Iowa.
Parker Gabriel.
Hey, Wandale, what do you tell, whether it's Luke or Adrian, just in terms of, your role in helping them, play confident and play fast? And what do you think the key is to sort of unlocking that going forward this season?
I think it's them just being confident with everybody out there on the field. I know with me and them, I'll just always try to tell them, like, hey, I'm always there for a layoff, especially at running back. Just know you have me there. And I try to do whatever I can at receiver to make sure that they're good and everybody else is good. But I think that they'll be confident going into game weeks as long as they have the execution right in practice.
Andrew Ward.
Hey, Wandale, a couple questions for you. One serious, not so serious. The serious one, just how frustrated have you been trying to, get yardage this season? It seems like it's been kind of a struggle for you. You've been really a key focus for opposing teams' defenses. And then two, favorite Thanksgiving food?
Well, with the one, I mean, it's definitely been a little tough, but we just have to overcome it and we just have to get in some plays that'll get us some yards. But at the end of the day, I knew that teams were gonna be out there game planning for me and things like that. But favorite Thanksgiving food, I'd just go with either the turkey or the ham. I mean, either one. You can't go wrong with either one of those. So, yeah.
Brian Christopherson?
Hey, Wandale, where do you sense this team's head is at right now? I mean, it's such a difficult season to begin with the COVID deal and then a tough loss Saturday. And I know some guys expressed some emotions on Twitter even at the game. I mean, where do you think guys are at, and what do you try to do as a leader to keep guys fully engaged and motivated?
This season's not over. We still have three regular season games left, and if we can win out these, who knows what may happen. So it's just trying to keep everybody together and know that we can still do this and we can flip this page. This could be a really big stepping stone for next year, just getting us going and everything that we can accomplish next year too. So,
Thank you.
Steve Sipple?
Hi, Wandale. You always hear coaches say, trust the process, trust the system. As it applies to your offense, given the amount of struggles, is that tested? Is your trust tested right now at all?
I mean, there's definitely times after games you'll think and you have those type of emotions, but until you really sit down and talk and watch and do all those things, you don't know exactly what the situation is or anything like that. So once you can really sit down and talk with your coaches and watch the film, you understand why a lot of things could have happened. Maybe it was just one misassignment that made something go wrong. So you never want to just completely distrust our coaches or anything like that. So that's why I like to just talk to them and figure out where their heads are at and things like that. So,
thank you. Is there anything in particular that you noticed on the video of the Illinois game that was awry or that was wrong?
Nothing particular. I mean, we can get better in all aspects, whether that be receivers, O-line, quarterbacks, running backs. It's about everybody. The effort level obviously wasn't probably what we needed it to be, or what our coaches want or what any of us want. So that's on us right there too. So.
Okay. Thank you.
Mitch Sherman?
Hey, Wandale, following up on that and your comment about having something to prove this week, what do you think is the key to getting to that place every week, so that's not ever an issue with you guys in practice coming into a game? You know, where Coach said last week that he thought some guys were content with having got a win. What's the key to taking that next step and getting past that mentality?
Just continue to push forward. Even after a win, you have to know that you have to come to work each and every day to go prepare to beat the next team. And I think now everybody sees what can happen after a win, and you just come to practice being lackadaisical. So now, especially today, it was really, really laser focused. There weren't very many mistakes at all. And so now everybody knows exactly what we have to do for us to go out and play good on Friday.
Jacob Bertecki?
Wandale, Coach Lubick and Frost have said they wanted to get you more involved in the offense, and you had a really good game against Illinois last year. Are you satisfied with the level of involvement you've had in the offense this season?
I mean, yeah, but at the end of the day, a lot of the defenses, they're taking away a lot of the things that I did last year and a lot of the things that they're wanting to do. So at the end of the day, it's on everybody to really do their part, and hopefully that works out for me. But at the end of the day, I just want to win, and whatever I have to do to help us win, that's what we got to do.
Thanks.
Evan Bland?
Hey, Wandale. Obviously, preseason, it didn't look like you were maybe going to play a role as a running back this year. What's that been like the last couple of weeks? I mean, is it kind of a week-by-week thing when you learn, if you'll be taking carries? And are you surprised that you're still, doing that here in your second year here?
I'm not surprised. I knew that I would always at least take carries in some form. But knowing that Diedrich had went down and Ronald had went down too this past week, so I knew that I would have to take a little bit more of the carries coming into this week. Well, at least play a little bit more running back. But every week, that's just I just go over with Coach Held and go over all the run stuff and make sure that I'm good and all the pass protections. But it's really nothing like every day that I'm working exactly on running back. So
We'll finish this session with Steve Sipple.
Hey, Wandale, since you brought up pass protection, what in your opinion is the key to good pass protection from the running back spot?
Well, one, knowing exactly who your guys are, especially in our offense, with the points and things like that, you have to know who you have and certain blitzers. Well, for me personally, I just cut. So I tell them whenever I'm in the backfield, I'm going to cut. So that's that's me.
That's good. And you mentioned that defenses are taking stuff away. Is there anything in particular that they've really locked in on with taken away from you in your game?
Just letting me get the edge on certain plays. Really any kind of screens, those are gone. So, but I mean, you just have to do a good way of trying to find different ways. So,
are you holding up okay physically?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, physically I've been fine, and just getting treatment and things like that. So, always.
Thank you.
That'll conclude our session with Wandale. We'll should have Coach Frost here in a little bit. Obviously, we'll probably have a little break between now and then. But we'll come back shortly. Thanks, guys.
Okay, we're joined now by Coach Frost, and we will go ahead and start with Caleb Henry.
Coach, you said on Saturday after the game that the team didn't have the juice and the enthusiasm. Out of that, you'd give anything to go back and play on that turf. Nobody had to tell you guys to be fired up to go play no matter the opponent. Is that something you can coach into this team, or is that something more that needs to be identified better in recruiting?
Oh, it's our job to coach it into these guys. We got a lot of guys that have that. It wasn't there as a team, and it started in practice all week, I thought, and we got to do a better job coaching it into them. We certainly tried to coach it into them. I think a little bit we got a young team that thought they won one game and everything was good, and the next one was going to be a win too. And that's not the way this game works. So hopefully our young players learned a lesson, and we won't let it happen again.
Our next question comes from Drake Keeler.
Yeah, so the last 2 years you've headed into the Iowa game off of a win, 2018 against Michigan State, 2019 against Maryland. Is the energy coming into a rivalry game any different coming off of a big loss?
No, I don't think so. Our guys have responded this week. Energy's way better. I think they're excited to play Iowa. Iowa's a really good team. It's going to be a black and blue game like it always is against those guys. They're going to make you earn it, and we respect them, but we want to play as hard as we can, and I think the guys are going to prepare.
Next question comes from Parker Gabriel, Lincoln Journal-Star.
Hey, Scott, did you think any different of your quarterback performance overall after watching the film? And obviously, you've been through the ups and downs of being a college quarterback. How can you help instill confidence in the way those guys play and just the pace that they play at?
Pace has been good this year. Those guys are running hard. They're evading rush when they need to. Timing on throws needs to be a little better. We're really young outside, so it's not all on the quarterbacks. But overall, our quarterback play wasn't good enough on Saturday, particularly the turnovers. We got off to such a bad start. But just like every week, we're going to let those guys compete. I've been talking to those guys about just what you asked, being confident. Both of them believe in the type of player they are and the type of throwers they are. And they both have the capability of doing it.
Is there an added dimension to the challenge, just given how young you are outside? I'm not trying to make excuse for those guys, but I mean, does it make it hard for a quarterback to be confident if you can't trust that a guy is going to be in the right spot at the right moment?
Oh yeah. That's the passing game. We've thrown for a lot of yards in this offense, and we're not on track to do that this year. We got the kids in the program that I think are going to be great receivers. They're all young. A lot of them are young. A couple of veterans that are doing a really good job. But our quarterbacks need to trust them, and we need to be in the right spot, and we need to be at full speed and all those things. And we're working toward that every day, and it was better today.
Next question from Joe Nugent, WOWT.
Scott, I'm curious about Thursday. Will you guys have a practice? You'll travel, and then Thanksgiving for so many people is going to be different this year. Will it be a different experience compared to other years for the team, whether or not you can get together or not?
Yeah, this whole year's been rough and trying to manage things. We're going to treat Thursday like it's a normal Friday for us and head over there. We're trying to work through right now how many guys we can let go home. If we go home and get some guys with the virus, that could put our season in jeopardy, the rest of the season in jeopardy. And I'm sure our guys after this long haul are ready to go see family. But we got a couple more games to play, so we're trying to work through that schedule right now. But we'll treat Thursday, other than a nice team meal, the same as we do the day before any game.
Sam McEwen, Omaha World Herald.
Scott, I have two very different questions. The first one is this. You've been a quarterback coach and an offensive guy for a long time. You know what it looks like when it's really good. And you know what a good quarterback looks like. You recruited and coached Marcus Mariota, you recruited Justin Herbert, even though you didn't coach him, but Lubick did. And you had Mackenzie Milton. How close are your quarterbacks right now to the kind of players that those guys were, and that kind of play? How close are they, and what do they need to do to get there?
They both have enough talent to be those guys, Sam, and we haven't gotten them playing there yet. Luke was in his second start. That's tough. Adrian has all the talent in the world and has the capability of doing it. Those guys can both be just like the people you asked about, but there's been games where we haven't played like that, and we have to do a better job as coaches to make sure that we get those guys to max out their potential.
The other question is, JoJo Doman said that you guys practiced this week as physical as humanly possible. What was the thinking behind that? I mean, Iowa's a very physical team, but the players seem to note that the practices were really physical and rigorous. And I was just curious what the thinking was behind that and how your team has responded.
Other than trying to get the guys to play hard, practice hard, that we didn't do as well as I wanted last week, and the execution wasn't well as I wanted. We didn't change practice. I think it's just the intensity's better, and that's what we need when we're playing any game, especially Iowa.
Thank you. Next question, Kevin Suits, Kolin, KGIN.
Hey, Scott, in spite of it being a very unconventional year and all the challenges you guys have had to endure, you get to maintain the tradition of playing on the day after Thanksgiving. What does that mean to you and the program to continue to do that?
Well, we're excited to be playing football. We fought to play football. I'm glad we're playing. No matter what happens, I'm glad we're getting this experience. To get better as a football team, we need to be able to play. It's great we get to play Iowa. I got so much respect for Coach Ferentz and their program. We've been in 2 close ones that we lost at the last second the first 2 years. They're going to make you earn it, man. They're a physical team. They're good on defense. They do a great job on offense. We're excited to be playing. And it has been a weird year. It's been a challenging year. Trying to handle every one of these weird situations the right way, but great that we're getting a chance to play this football game.
Next question, Sean Callahan, Husker Online.
Coach, I know every game's important at Nebraska, but when you size in on this final 3-game stretch, how defining is this stretch going to be for you guys to show some progress and get things back where you want them to be?
Yeah, it's important. We're so much better in so many ways, but we weren't Saturday, and that's what frustrates me is we've taken steps forward. I feel like we took a step back Saturday. We got more talent in this program than we've had the last 2 years. The talent keeps growing. A lot of the good players that are playing for us are young, freshmen, playing for the first time. To win in this league, you got to not only have the athletes on the field and have the right X's and O's, you got to execute it really well, and that's easier to do with a veteran team than it is a young team. I think defensively, Saturday wasn't what we wanted, but our defense has been running and hitting better. We got the pieces at skill on offense now, some of them young. So the progress is evident when you're inside these walls, but it's got to show up on the field. And we're playing 3 games against 3 good opponents. We're going to take our swing. There's no doubt that the improvements are being made. It's got to show up on the football field, and we've got to catch some momentum.
Andy Kendi, KETV.
Hey, Coach. 2 questions. 1, can you give us an update on Colin Miller? And 2, when you talk about juice at practice, does it help knowing that Iowa is at the end of the week?
Yeah, I think so. We shouldn't need to be playing a rival to prepare well. But if that's what it takes, then hopefully it helps this week. Colin was at practice today. He didn't take part in practice, but he was out there with his teammates, and I gave him a big hug, and I think a lot of guys were excited to see him.
Is it possible that he would return before the season is over?
Doubtful. We're going to be careful with him and make sure that that he's going to be okay long term. His health's the most important thing.
Evan Bland, Omaha World Herald.
Hey, Scott, from just a general coaching perspective, where do you guys as a staff begin when you self-evaluate as coaches and identify ways that you guys can improve and adjust? I mean, is that game day stuff? Is that how you practice, schemes? Where does that start for you guys?
Yeah, we're always looking for ways to be a little bit better, Evan. We're certainly not going to completely change a formula that's been so successful going back a long time, but we all have to self-examine and make sure we're doing everything we can to win. We didn't do a good job getting the team mentally ready to play last week, and we didn't play well. We didn't play anywhere near as well as we could play. To win in this league, you got to play your best. The rest of the year, I've been happy with our energy and effort at Ohio State. Northwestern looks like a playoff team right now, and we had every chance in the world in that game and found a way to beat Penn State. But we can't play like we did Saturday. Again, credit to Illinois, but we can't play like that. And wins are too hard to come by in this league to let that happen. So whatever coaches need to do to make sure the team's ready, we need to do it.
Jacob Bartecki, KRNU.
Coach, I'm not asking for the game plan, but you guys have not seemed to have like a solid one go-to guy at running back. I was wondering if in practice anyone has been kind of up there towards the top above everyone else. And then just to follow up, do you have a status on Jack Stoll for this weekend?
Yes, Jack's fine. Mills was kind of our lead running back. He's been nicked up. That puts us in a position where we got Wandale that we want to use at receiver, but can put him in the backfield and can do special things, and some freshmen. And those freshmen have been battling it out. And I can't tell you there's one that's clearly on top because they're all talented kids, but that's the boat we're rowing in right now.
Thank you.
Mitch Sherman, The Athletic.
Hey, Scott, back to the quarterbacks. When you've been through a shakeup during the season like you have this year where you changed guys, is there an extra concern at all about potentially going down that road again? And how much do you have to consider all of the guys involved and how it impacts their confidence if you have an unsettled situation at that position?
Yeah, I don't think being around the guys every day, I don't think the rest of the team's going to be affected. I care about those two kids so deeply. I've been kind of benched here before as a quarterback for a short time during a game. Got booed when I came back into the game to some degree. Sometimes you need that shake up, and it puts a chip on your shoulder. There's no doubt in my mind Luke McCaffrey's the future around here. But right now, to help us win, we got to play the guy that gives us the best chance. And I think Adrian's been playing with a little chip on his shoulder. Luke's playing well. So we're going to evaluate this week and see which one goes out there. And I feel good about both of them. We just need to keep coaching them as well as we can so we get the best that we can out of them.
Got time for about three more. Andrew Ward, KLKN TV.
Hey, Scott, a little bit of a lighter note here. Do you have a favorite Thanksgiving memory or food or anything like that?
Memory has become one of the challenging things about being in football is you lose Thanksgiving. It's just the way it is. I like cranberry sauce on my turkey. Some people are into it, some aren't. I love it.
Steve Sipple, Lincoln Journal-Star.
Hey, Scott, what have you noticed defenses doing to against Wandale? Is there anything in particular that you notice that they're taking away or trying to take away?
They're aware of where he is all the time. some of the quick throws, some of the option routes, some of the fast screens, they know where he is. But not taking anything away, no. We have a lot of people up near the line of scrimmage against us right now until we're going to be able to push the ball downfield better.
So just to make everything clear here, you don't know who the starting quarterback will be at this point on Friday, excuse me.
No, just like last week, we're letting them compete, and not sure.
Thank you, Scott.
Okay, I have two more. Brian Christopherson, Nebraska 24/7.
Hey, Scott, from the middle linebacker perspective, just a football question. What do you do there now with Colin gone? And I know Luke got dinged a little bit at the end. How do you feel about your pieces there?
I feel good. I think Luke's going to be fine. We can always move Nick back to that spot. Snodgrass has done some good things and got some playing time. So we still got some guys that we feel good about there.
I have one more. How do you keep young guys? There was a couple of young guys who tweeted out some frustrations after the game and stuff. And I know you got a locker room full of 150 guys, so it's hard to keep everyone happy. But how do you keep guys motivated, especially during a year like this with COVID and all of that you're dealing with?
Yeah, it's a challenge. I was the second-ranked quarterback in the country, I think, coming out of high school. I didn't play till my fourth year of college. Things worked out great for me. Freshman years are hard because you're used to being the star of the show in high school, and you come, and very few freshmen are capable and able to start their freshman year. This year's been even tougher. There's no fans in the stands. They don't get to see what Memorial Stadium looks like. We're going to be done with school and still have a few weeks of season left here. So there's been probably even more challenging before. But at the end of the day, a lot of kids need to learn to be patient, and if they persevere, things are going to work out better for them. Not everything happens easy or right away or when you want it to. Kind of like the progress we're making as a team, but hasn't quite gotten there yet. And we try to teach those lessons to those kids every day. At the end of the day, some of them will learn them. Some won't and won't stick around here or somewhere else they go. But that's the challenge facing a lot of us.
Thank you, Scott.
And our last question comes from Eric Olson with the Associated Press.
Hey, Scott, can you confirm the nature of Colin's injury? I know that you say that when a guy's going to be out for the season, maybe sometimes you can do that.
Yeah, they're still kind of testing everything to make sure. They're calling it a spinal concussion. So I can only tell you what that sounds like to me, but I don't think they found any serious issues that went on. I think he just took a hit in the exact wrong way, and sounds like everything down the road is going to be fine.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Coach, and thank you everybody for joining us.